Addictions is not just drugs and alcohol. Addictions are also behavior. An addiction is any behavior, right? Notice I didn't say substance. Any behavior that you do for pleasure or temporary relief, all right? Any behavior. It causes detrimental harm long term, but despite that, you can't give it up. That's an addiction. So it can be shopping, it can be gambling, it can be too much social media, it can be watching pornography, it can be eating. Like bulimia, for example, is classified as an addiction. And of course, we know about drugs and alcohol. All right. Now, the thing about it is, not everybody who engages in these different behaviors becomes addicted. So I want to give you my background a little bit. I just want to tell you some of my credentials from the point of view of experience. Some of you know that I went and experienced some trauma in my life, for a long time, probably from the time my father died. I was about 8 years old. My mother remarried, and it went bad from there. 16, I was done. I'm leaving, and I'm in the streets. But I don't have any career. I don't have any way of making money. The lowest hanging fruit in that situation is selling drugs. Drugs are everywhere. The thing about selling drugs is this: you are going to interact with every aspect of very, very bad human behavior. You're going to run into just whatever you can think of. Rich people who have really, really bad habits, poor people who have intergenerational trauma. You're going to run into, people who will rob you at gunpoint for your sneakers. Like, you're going to see every aspect of, human behavior that is driven by fear, that is driven by addiction. All right. You're going to see it. And wallahi, I saw it. It was a shock for me a lot of times, but I saw it. By the time I was 17, I understood that the best way of distributing drugs was not on the corner, but actually one place where you have a lot of people coming to you. So I opened up my own crack house. Wallahi, I'm telling you the truth. Allah is my witness. What I'm saying to you is true. I was 17 years old and I opened up a crack house, and we started making money. We started making a lot of money to buy more drugs. And, eventually what happens is that you start making more and more money, which means that you have more and more enemies, including the police. All right. I saw professionals spend thousands and thousands of dollars a night servicing their addiction. And then they would go out and drive the trains and the planes. I saw youth. I saw people with all different types of addictions. I saw people who would gamble and lose everything. I saw people with sex addictions, like the whole spectrum of sex addictions. I saw people with shopping addictions. I saw people, and I saw kleptomaniacs. That was the first time I saw people who, they go into the store, and even though they have money in their pocket, they have to try to steal something. I saw that. I saw people lose their lives. I saw people lose their health. I saw people lose their money, all behind addictions. Okay? The question is, why? Why? Why does someone engage in what is known detrimental behavior? Why do people do that? Why? I realized a couple of things. Number one, really, really bad things happen to people. Really, really bad things happen. You know what the alternative is to an addiction? What is the alternative? Suicide. Some people experience the worst things you can think of, and their only coping mechanism is some type of external way of validating themselves, some external way of reducing the pain. What's the number one addiction? Sugar, at the top of the list. Sugar. Sugar is at the top of the list. All right? It gets you, it's a quick dopamine release. You feel good, right? You feel good. You know, and sometimes you wake up in the morning, if you don't have your fix, you know, you're going to be cranky. You're going to be just not motivated to get up and go and do what it is that you need to do. When you're thinking about addictions, or you're thinking about someone who is addicted to something, you always have to say, why? All right? You must. The first question is, why? And hopefully your heart is broad enough and deep enough to understand, you know, people just go through stuff, right? People go through stuff, and we don't have, especially the mechanisms in society that we used to have to be able to help people through their different addictions. People are trying to soothe their pain. This is one of the reasons why people drink. All right? This is one of the reasons why. And then they get addicted. Because what? What's an addiction? Right? You do it for what? Relief or pleasure. But it's detrimental in the long term, and you can't stop. So people are trying to soothe their pain. People are trying to, you know, fix their brokenness. That's what you'll find. You know, people are trying to find meaning. You won't believe in our society how many people, they do not know their purpose. He said, the two most important days in your life is, number one, the day you are born. And number two, the day you find out why. He's talking about purpose. When you figure out finally what you are supposed to be doing here, what you're supposed to accomplish before you leave here. But do you know how many people will never figure that out? That is a hard road to go down. And sometimes the only way out is some type of addiction. It's a coping mechanism. So people are trying to fix their brokenness. They want to erase their meaninglessness. All right? They want to do away with it. Addiction is just self-soothing behavior. Right? Self-soothing behavior. That's what addiction is.